Okay, so the first thing I needed to do is I needed to kind of get an idea of where I'm getting the 50 radicals from. I do like this website, learnmandarinchinese.com, and they have a bunch of different ways that they categorize the language, and if you see the radical one there, that is not the one that I'm clicked on right now. Hold on. There we go. They split up radicals by strokes, and this appeals to me, and you can click on the radical and it will tell you more information about it, and there's even a sound file. Oops, I have my mute on right now. But so there's that information. So what I did, because for checklists I've learned quite recently, I need to have them in written form in front of me. So I printed out this list of all of the radicals he has on that site. And it's 3 pages, and so then I totaled them down here. So number of strokes is here, and number of radicals is here, and then I looked at how many are there total. 183. So if I do 50 today, and a couple more sessions of 50, I could probably get this all done by the end of my less busy work week. So I'm pretty excited that this is a goal that I think I can reach this week. It's also nice because I can actually go from the website, I can copy and paste the actual radical into the places where I'm getting the sound file and other ones, instead of trying to find the radical or the character and then go put it into online into finding images and finding audio files. I can just actually copy it from the list on this page here, on the digital list. So I'll be working with the digital list as well as this list. I'll probably make like a little mark on each one when I have them done. I don't want to write too much more on this sheet, because what I envision happening, in addition to the digital flashcards that I'll do when I have my phone with me, there'll be times at work that I can't have my phone, and I'd like to just have this list and just kind of run through and quickly quiz myself, not only on the meaning, but on the pronunciation also. When I learned the first 100 radicals a few weeks ago, I did not learn the pronunciation of them. For example, with this one here, this is a super common radical. And I do apologize for the glare, but I did want to do a screencast because there's a paper version thingy here that I wanted to show you as well. But for this one, let me turn my sound on. Hello? There we go. Okay, let's see.
Call. Call.
Okay, and so what I did is when I learned the first 100 radicals, instead of calling this call, I called it the mouth radical. And I found that that really made it more difficult to have conversations with people in person and even online. Although I could have copy and pasted the character online, it would have made much more sense to use the pinyin, that K-O-U thing. It would have made more sense to use that than to just make up names for the radicals. So I want to stop making up, well, I probably won't completely make up names like Ooga Booga Man. I kind of like that name for that character, but I would also like to know the formal way to say the character to refer to it, because I find that talking about learning the language and talking about the language is almost as much fun as actually using it. So, and that is slightly surprising to me, because normally breaking down a language and talking about it isn't as much fun for me, although, is that entirely true? I don't know. I need to think about that. Not in the learning process. Once I've gotten the hang of a language and I like playing with it and blending it and deciding what would be better to make a language better, then yes, I do like playing with languages. But in the beginning stages up until this point, I have found it very frustrating to do that, and I don't with Chinese, so I want to keep going with that. So this is what I'll be doing. It's 11:30 now, so I'm going to start the first hour, and I'll show you how far I've gotten. So I will see you again at 12:30. Okay, so it's just a hair after 12:30, mostly because I had a fight with my tripod and it won. So I am hand-holding my video for this part. I did get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters. There were some parts of some of the flashcards I had to leave blank, but overall I did get through them. They're in my Anki flashcard deck for radicals, and right now as we are speaking I am updating my phone to sync with that. And actually let me update this as well. So on this side here, let me bring up the main Anki area. Here we go. Here's the sync button right there. So you need to sync with the cloud first before you can sync with your phone. Whoopsie. So this is the main Anki area. And I do apologize for the glare. There we go. That should be better. So I have a few different decks with very little in them at this point because I used some pre-made decks, shared decks, and I'm now making my own. So I wiped everything out, which may or may not have been a good idea, but that's what I did. So what I'm working on today is the Radicals deck. And you can see I've got, it doesn't actually show you how many cards in here. I'll show you how to go in there and do that. But coming over to the phone, you can see the same decks, and I will go ahead and sync what I just did there, and it's syncing there. So you have to do that. You can make decks on the phone. I'm not as good with it, so I tend to use the computer to make the cards, and then I use them mostly for language learning purposes on, there we go, there's the glare, on the phone. I do hope to get some of the I will get some of the signs and things I'm seeing out in the wild onto the flashcard decks via the phone. So I do hope to get better at that. So let's go into Radicals. I want to show you all of the ones I've made so far. So it shows you decks, add, and browse. We want to browse because I want to show you what I did in the past hour. And then for some reason it doesn't go into the one that you're in. So I'm still learning. So here we go. We go current deck over here on this menu, and it does show you. So that is an easy way to get there. Now I'll just keep the glare. Let me switch lights for a second. Okay, hopefully that took care of a little bit of the glare issues. So as you can see, these are the cards I just added. The glare is still there. Awesomeness. It's probably from the computer. Anyway, we'll push on because here you go. Here are the 10 that I just added, and it shows you, oh, the dates that for the time-space repetition. It shows you when they're going to come back, I suppose, and what deck they're in. So if we were to click on one of these, it should show you below. Again, I'm still very new at this. Here we go. It shows you down here what the deck looks like, but let me show you in a better form. Wow, this is really not looking well. So I want to walk you through how I made them. So I'm going to do the next one on camera. I think that's the best way to do it because going backwards from that doesn't seem to be working well. So I've got the Anki flashcard app template here, and I'm going to make a new card right now for the 11th one for today. And on the right hand side I have a variety of things open, and I usually have them open halfway. This again is the site I showed you at the beginning where I'm getting all of the radicals I'm doing for this deck, and I'm working on this one right now, so I'm going to click on that one. And what is that one called? Dao. That is exaggeratedly long, but you get the idea. Dao. And I do recognize that one as being in or meaning knife. It is definitely something associated with that. I don't remember if it's just that or not. So here is my plan. I have a little list of the steps that I go through to remind me because I'm still fairly new at this. So step one is I find the character script, which for the radicals I'm using this website. Step two, I'll find the sound. I've got 2 different websites that I use for that. Step 3, I'll check it in the Playco app, which I'm using. I'll show you in 1 second. My stuff keeps turning off here, but I'm using that on my phone, and I'll show you how I use that to double check everything before I finalize the card. And step 4, I find the image, usually in Google Images right now, and step 5, I add the flashcard. I have to hit that kind of final save add button, and then I sync the decks. That's probably 2 steps, but this is just a reminder. So here we go. I'm just going to do a card. So I tend to copy radicals because I am really bad at typing. Actually, I can't say I'm really bad. I don't know how to type in Chinese yet. I've been practicing tracing, but I don't know how to type the characters yet. That will come. So I copy that over into the card just to show you my little cheat sheet of what I like on the cards. On the top of the card, which is what they're calling front, I put the character and the sound. I want the sound everywhere because that's the one I'm most resistant to, so I want it as many places as possible. And on the bottom, which they're calling back, yeah, I should probably sync up that information, but whatever. I have the image, the sound, the pinyin, and the English. I might eventually take off some of the English when I get more familiar with them before I rotate them out of the flashcards, but for now I do want to have the English in there. For the radicals, it's not as important. I think the image would give me enough meaning, but I do want to have that right now just in case. Just in case. I'm adding enough new ones right now, so I do want to have that. So I get that information. I also like to copy over this onto the back side because I will be using that. And I was using just the accents, but then I decided there's enough times when I can't copy and paste on my phone, so I do want to start learning the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the different accents. You can see this is the flat tone, and it's called tone 1, and that is commonly used terminology for the Chinese tone. So I do want to start getting used to those. I think that's a really helpful thing, and I'm glad they have that on the site. And then I usually listen to it, which we already did once. And that's about all. So for some of the characters, they do have meaning on this page, but I do find for the radicals that's missing. Not a problem. So then I go into this site, forvo.com. It's one of the two sites that I use. It is the main one because I do find it has the less annoying sounds on it. And I copy the character again. I copy it into here. And I do have to be careful because by using the Chinese characters, it tends to show you a lot of Japanese also. So I make sure that I click on the Mandarin Chinese. It shows you some Cantonese also sometimes. So I really have to be careful. And then I click on this. I got a little confused initially because it shows, can you see this here? This. I think that's the name of the character, but not the pronunciation of it, if that makes any sense. Then I click on here. Sometimes there's like 2 or 3 options, and then you click on here to hear it.
立刀旁, 立刀.
See, and that's not one I like. Sometimes they put them in context with other characters or radicals to make words, and I don't like that. So what I'm going to do, and this is a good example, is sometimes I'll put add sound, and I'll go into the other site that I use later. But if I had the sound, I would copy it over into here. Here, let me copy it for now so you see how to do it. So I already signed in. You do have to create a free account and sign in. And then you hit this download button and you save it as what you save it as. And then for me, it hops down here, and then you just drag it over here. And it looks funny in the deck, but what it ends up looking like on the cards, let me show you, is actually really cool. Give me 1 second. It ends up looking like this. Do you see that button? That's the sound. And I put it in both parts of my deck. So you can see there's a sound one at the top and a sound one at the bottom. That is the same character or same radical sound. So that's what it ends up looking like. So here it looks kind of like almost the HTML coding version, but it doesn't actually look like that in the end. And then I pull that over in the bottom too, because I like the sound in both of mine. I pulled that over into the wrong spot. 1 second. So it's super easy to add sound and images over into Anki. Super easy. I actually don't want these though, because I don't like that sound. I'm going to get a different sound. So I'm going to just leave a note for myself. This is really hard to do with one hand. I'm going to add the sound later. Then, I don't usually use the character when I'm looking for images. Oh, not images yet. Here's why I stopped doing images next, is because I find with the radicals, the sites I was using don't actually get me where I need to go. So then I go into Playco app, which I am falling madly in love with more and more by the day, and I use their handwriting section, and I try to recreate it. Wait, to erase everything first. I try to recreate it and have it pop up at the bottom. That's way too long for the first one, and it didn't recognize it. So I'm going to go back, do it again. That one's shorter. I don't see it. Sometimes when I can't find it, I will type in a word that I know has it. Since I know knife is associated with this, I think I'm going to do that. So then I'll go into the keyboard, and I'll go knife. You can type in English or the pinyin or type in the character. Pretty awesome. Do you see any of them that look like that? Aha, there it is. So what I do, because Pleco is so cool in this way, like you can look up the different components. So now, and of course I'm not going to find it in here either. So if I look up this one, so I'm trying to dig into just finding that specific radical, and there it is. Do you see it? 1, 2, 3, the third one down. That's the one we're looking for. Now is that the same sound as this one?
Dao.
And we'll double check here. Oh no, that's not it.
Dao.
So it is the same one. So that's how I'm looking for meaning at this point. And it also helps me double check the sound, and I get to practice my tracing. So I like this new addition. I wasn't doing this for the first 4 that I made last week or 2 weeks ago, but I do like this new addition because it really helps me use both apps, and it uses multiple different skills all at the same time. It did take me a whole hour to do 10 cards, so this is not an easy process. But I do find that digging deep into the characters by looking at each character and then picking out the one that I want really, really does help kind of solidify it in my mind. So I still don't see a meaning in here though, do you? Fuzzy, that's frustrating. And I'm finding this a lot with, oh there it is, knife radical. So it is the knife one, it's the knife radical. Okay, but I am finding with the radicals it's less easy to find a, whatchamacallit, a meaning sometimes because they're just not as common to find. I don't know what it is. I'm having a harder time with meaning than just a character. But I think we've got it. If you look down at the bottom of the Pleco one, it says knife radical 18. I want to look at more of radical number 18. Radical number what? How is Pleco doing that? What are they using? Okay, so far, character and sound on top, got it. Image, sound, pinyin, English. We have pinyin to sound. We need the image still. So now I go over into Google Images. And I like to contextualize this as much as possible. So a lot of times I'll actually put Chinese or China something. And I'll try to get awesome, something that looks like what I might see around me here. And I do see a lot of these knives used in restaurants here. They cut through bone like it's nobody's business in restaurants. It is so impressive. Okay, and then I bring it over here, wait for it to save. And again, on the right is, well, here, I'll just show you. I just drag it over. And there it is. And then I click that add button, and then it's in there. So let's go find it. Oh shoot, my phone's running out of juice. 1 second, I gotta plug in. If anybody uses any of those docking stations where you just set your equipment on it, please leave a comment below and let me know how you like it. I am getting sick of all these cords. Okay, so let's go into the bigger Anki thing. I don't want to add any more. I want to go into, you can tell I have a lot of Anki things open. There we go, there's the general deck. So Radicals deck, I want to go into Browse because I want to see all of them. Do you see the one I just added? Knife, 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 knife. I don't see it. Let's sync. Oh gosh, I hope that's saved. Let's sync. And then we'll browse. I don't think you have to sync after you save, but who knows. Let's browse. Current deck. Ah, there it is. And that's the one that I just created. I don't know why it's half screen right now. And you can see the stuff that we did at the bottom of the screen, including the picture. And since I synced it, it should come up on my app here. I know, it's a lot of moving parts, right? But once they're in there, as long as you're learning those characters, they're in there. So it really has, it's an investment in time for sure. But then it has your information, your stuff in there. Like I find that picking the images is really satisfying. And then seeing the images that I picked are really great. And eventually I want to have, for characters where I have pictures of things I've taken in China, I'm going to import those over. Oh no, I want to go in that. Okay, that's not the one I want to see. Oh, learning curve, deck options. I want to see all of the ones for that deck. Okay, I'm not going to be able to show this to you because it's not saying that I need to learn it today. Card browser. Here we go. Yes, I am. Ha ha. Okay. Where's the one I want to look at? Do you see it? There it is. Yay! And it's showing you the ugly version. It's showing you kind of the background creation version. So that's not really going to help us. But you can see it lists all the same ones that are over here. So it does take a little bit of time to do all of this, but I do think it's really, really worth it, and I find it really, really satisfying to do the time-space repetition because it's not all of the vocabulary you know every day. It's according to the time-space repetition theory. It is the cards that you're just about to forget, so you can remind yourself before you forget. And apparently, doing it that way keeps learning fatigue away, and it helps remind you enough so that you can learn enough new stuff that you can absorb it and not overwhelm yourself with the old stuff you already know and by repeating too often. And so it's an interesting way to look at it, and I'm super excited to be able to make my own flashcards no matter how painful this is, because at 10 an hour, this 4-hour experience today may very well take me 5 hours. But you know what? Fine, because I need to do something different. So there's that. Radicals, study now. And if you study on the computer, here's what it shows you. And you say, do you want it again? Do you feel good? Or is it easy? And that'll determine how often you get that particular one. I'm still working on the size. I like this little guy. That's mysterious. Pretty cool picture, right? Yay, Google Images. I'm still figuring out how to change the size of the characters, because even on the mobile phone, that's really small. So I'm still working on a few things. But I think this is really, really going to help. And as you can see, within an hour, I was able to get 10 of those down, even with figuring out a new way to double check some of the sounds and meanings that I found hard to do. So I've got 30 more to do today, but first I have to do laundry, so I will check in. I'll start again in about 5 minutes, and I'll go from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, then I'll check in one more time. Well, I'll check in more times, but that's the next time I'll check in. Okay, thanks!